Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Rowdies Podcast. Stop me if you have heard this before. The Tampa Bay Rowdies win on the weekend at Lang Stadium. Still unbeaten. 250-plus days they haven't lost a game at home. Big game on the weekend coming up against one of the better teams in USL forever, Lou City. Massive game, huge game in the Eastern Conference standings. Just a massive, massive game. But let's talk about the weekend and celebrate what the Rowdies did. Well, I guess not even just the weekend. Before the last podcast, they beat New Mexico, got 3 points in New Mexico. That feels like forever ago. Yes. That was on Wednesday.
It was a long time ago.
And then they came home and absolutely whooped up on Phoenix.
That was fun.
A drubbing.
That was awesome, man. I tell you what, scoring a goal within 2 minutes really gets people locked into the game.
It was exciting, and then Pedro's the perfect guy for stuff like that because he's an animated individual out there, and I think the fans are going to really love him once they start really locking in on this guy.
Dude, I love Pedro. He likes my Instagram stories. Pedro was really embracing the yoga on the pitch, which also happened this weekend, which looked like the big deal. I saw him doing Instagram commercials for it and everything like that. Pedro is he's embracing this all, and man, he's really playing well out there.
He's playing well, and he's a man of the people, that Pedro.
He is.
He enjoys it. He's always signing the autographs. He's doing everything. So I guess let's start, because the last time we recorded, it was the day before the New Mexico game. We weren't really sure how it was going to air and all the things that were going to come out from that. So let's start at New Mexico.
Can we start with saying I had no idea that Randy Arozarena's brother was the goalie who also used to be with the Rowdies, right?
He was with the Rowdies, yeah. He played in a final. He was here for a little while when Randy was here, and then obviously the Arozarena brothers both went their separate ways. But yeah, he was here for a while.
Well, I thought he had a pretty good game.
He did. He played really strong. I mean, he had to, because the Rowdies have taken the momentum from that Miami game and used that through this week. I mean, they scored early in that game, too. I think it was the first 5 minutes they scored a goal in that New Mexico game, and then they were able to ride it out 1-0. But, I mean, they were peppering their goalkeeper. They were peppering Rosarena the entire night.
Is that tough at all to play on a baseball surface, which is what they were doing in New Mexico? Is that harder to do? I mean, the field looked like hell, but I wasn't sure if it was just another day on the pitch for the guys or not.
There's always, those different dynamics, right? So I think that, Lang was a baseball stadium, and when I used to play at Lang, the field was the other way, and there was still, a pitcher's mound. There's still a bump of a pitcher's mound. So, it always has its different elements. But the one thing that I do think New Mexico does do really well, the fan base really loves it. It's their professional club, so they really do a good job getting behind it. But yeah, I mean, for the Rowdies to go into that on a Wednesday, travel on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday get back, I think they got back at 7 o'clock at night off of that win, and then train on Friday, and then do what they did Saturday at Lang. I mean, you can't even draw anything up into that. I'm running out of things to say about this team because every week they seem to get a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Is it's nobody really thinks it's a finished product. They just keep getting better each week, and I mean, I don't think we're waiting for them to lose, but I also think we're very surprised that they're not losing. So it just all around, and I mean, I know that we were going to get into things that happened on the pitch, but we talked about it on the podcast last week. You wanted to get the TARPS off thing going, and it got going. Okay, it got going at the game. It got going so well that my 8-year-old daughter goes, "Daddy, let's go over there and join them." And I had to let her know about anatomy. Girls can't really quite do that. So I said, no, those guys are having fun. And I get home, and I'm watching the video of everybody going crazy, TARPS off, and then I see this guy that's, coming out of, the announcer's booth, and my wife's like, "Oh, that's Jeff." And my daughter's like, "That's Jeff." And I was like, "No, Jeff's pretty reserved. He wouldn't do that." And then it was Jeff. It was you, out of the broadcast booth, TARPS off. How did that happen? Was it planned out? You went semi-viral for it, so.
It wasn't planned out at all, because the whole thing, I mean, we talked about it on the podcast, right? It was if somebody gets this started, because I see you're seeing what it's doing at Major League Baseball. It creates a fun environment. Yeah. People get into it, and people get really fired up. So, we talk about it on the podcast, it's okay, can we get somebody to try to start this and see what happens at the Rowdies game to see if we can get some traction and get it going? I didn't know where they were going to start it. I didn't know anything about the location, but then I just saw somebody texted me and they're like, "TARPS are off." So I pick my head up and I'm looking around and I don't see anything, and then it's right underneath of me.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, it's here. Here we go. So then I'm just hanging out. I'm literally just watching the game with half the eye, the other eye's checking my eyes on the stands.
And it was about 100 people. It wasn't just 3 or 4 guys. It was pretty noticeable.
People started flooding.
Yeah.
It was exactly how it was supposed to happen.
Well, then a USA chant broke out. There were so many things that were just wonderful about it. I didn't see it until afterwards. So what made you kind of rip your? I mean, you're doing color on the game, right?
Yeah,
So you were actually on the air, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you just go ahead and rip it off?
I was just pumped because like I didn't know if anything was going to pick up traction from like the social clip we did and then the podcast. Like I had no idea if that was actually going to take on life and like if somebody was going to lean into it. And I'll give our game day ops. I'll give Emmy a ton of credit as well because she had Steven, who does the game day emceeing.
Oh yeah, he's
talk
cool.
about it. He was talking about it. So we were trying to get it going a little bit. But I just had no idea that it would. I didn't know that it would happen.
Oh, it happened, man.
And then when it started happening right in front of me, and I'm watching, and I'm half hanging out the window, filming it with my phone, because I'm like, oh wow, this is actually happening. And then it just turns into a thing. Yeah. At one point earlier in the thing, I said, man, do you think anyone would care if I just like jumped out of the booth and went down there with them and just did it while they were doing it? And then eventually cooler heads prevailed from that. Like I didn't jump out of the.
Can I leave my job and go do this?
I didn't jump out of the booth, but then. Eventually, like they just started turning around, and then they were just yelling at me to take it off. And then from there, it was just like, oh, I gotta do this, no matter like what the repercussions could potentially be.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any repercussions at all. I mean, I think it's all great. I think the only downside is that I had to have a conversation with my daughter about nipples at all. But now she understands everything very clearly at all, and I think she's going to be ready for the next one. I don't see this dying anytime soon, especially with summer, and it's going to be getting hotter out there. It's already a little balmy on Saturday night. There's going to be a lot of tarps off, and it's probably not going to be just towards the end of the game. It's probably going to be something that happens a little sooner than later. So I look forward to seeing you hanging out the broadcast with a little more.
No, that was my one and only.
Oh, that was it.
Off.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my one and only tarps off. That was caught up in the moment type of mentality. But no, it's fun. And I mean, listen, you want to build that, and you want to try and build the environment, right? Like you want to try to build things that are fun for the fans. You want it to radiate through the field, and just from seeing what it was doing in Major League Baseball to try and bring it over was the goal. And then it happened, and then we'll see what happens to it from here, but it was a fun moment in time for sure.
When it's not forced and it happened organically, or whether they needed a little push. But the thing about, you talk about the atmosphere, is like the Rowdies fans they're always ready for something like that. They've been waiting for this their whole lives. They have their chance going the whole game. They shoot their colors off. We're blinded. We can't see what's going on right now. And then boom, tarps off. So I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. I think it could be here forever. Who knows? Like I said, with the weather, I don't think anybody should be wearing a shirt at the games.
We'll see, man. Hopefully it gets traction. Maybe we can get a little bit more organized. Like maybe we can get them a little bit closer to the Ralph's Mobs, Skyway Casual people. I don't know.
I don't
know where it goes from here.
Sitting afar, I thought everything looked great, man. I thought it looked awesome. So
I don't know where it goes from here. I'm just glad that it literally started on the podcast. So it was a conversation we had on the podcast, and then it grew, which is cool because for us, we were saying if it happens, it's going to happen because of this, and that's how it came to life.
You know what? We got the president of the Rowdies on the podcast today, so we can ask him what he thinks about it, and hopefully he's cool with keeping it going. Have you found out if he's cool with what you did on
I was never worried about anybody internally.
Okay, all right.
I was worried about the league.
Oh, okay.
I was more worried about the league. But then when I hopped on social media, because, you don't know, you're supposed to be somewhat neutral.
Didn't the league, re-gram it or something?
Yeah, and then when I hopped on social media after the fact, and, the league was the people tagging me, and they're talking, they're hyping up. I'm like, okay, cool, I think I'm in the clear. But when I was walking around the booth, they were like, well, man, hope you don't hear about that one. Hope you don't get fined. So I'm like, man,
get fined? You thought you might get fined?
Dude, I didn't know. I didn't think about, in the moment, the thought of getting in any type of trouble did not even cross my mind. But then after the fact, when people were coming up to me and being like, this might be something you get in trouble for.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, dude. I didn't think that anything bad would happen, and nothing bad happened at all other than us having to have this conversation.
Yeah, it worked out all pretty well. But then on the field, so we talked about New Mexico. On the field during the game, Phoenix, right? The tarps off kind of stole the headlines. But they absolutely smashed them. They scored 2 minutes in. I think the last goal was scored in the 30th. The second goal from Emily Myers put him on skates, ball back. The game was over by halftime.
And then I feel like there was somebody for the Rowdies that made their debut at the end of the game.
So Gino came on and made his Al Lang debut.
Yeah, he almost scored.
He almost scored. He hit the crossbar, which would have drove the fans nuts.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that was missing from the tarps off, was that we didn't score a goal when the tarps were off, and that would have made people go crazy. But the team on the field is playing at such a they impress me more every single week because I'm waiting to see the game in which it's like they had a long day of travel Wednesday, home game Saturday versus a West Coast team, not literally like a rivalry type game. And normally in history of sports, there are moments where you slip up. they haven't had a slip up yet, which is insane.
And I noticed that Big Russ hasn't been out there maybe, for the last couple of matches. And they've been doing this with different lineups, it seems like, bringing different guys in, like whether, Marco Bicoletto is starting, whether he's coming off the bench. Like, it feels like it's not just the same group of guys that are going out there and winning. I feel like it's getting mixed up, and they're still having the same results.
And that's what makes this team scary. Like, you think about the depth, you think about how they're doing it, the fact they haven't lost yet. I think they've given up 3 goals total at home, and so you're thinking about how many shutouts that is. I'm running out of things to say about it because, like, for me, it's fun to watch. The movement that they have off the ball is fantastic. Their defense keeps everything in front of them, and they're hard to break down, and they press hard and they fight. And it's just like the winning recipe is there, and we're watching it play out, and they get better every week.
And you got a group of guys that didn't know each other at all to start the season, and we talked to all of them about how do you bond, how do you get that camaraderie, and it's like being around each other and winning helps. And so I'd imagine they're best friends at this point. It might not get any better than that.
Yeah. Friendships are built through winning. So no, it's good. But like we said, we're gonna have the president of the club, Ryan Helfrick. He's gonna jump on, kind of a little bit of State of the Union, get to know Ryan a little bit more. There's so many different things we have going on this summer that, for me to sit up here and talk about it, I would lose track of them, to be completely honest, and he will do a much better job of that. So we'll have a fun interview there, and then in the soccer world, there's some other stuff going on as well outside of the Rowdies.
Yeah, Arsenal, I know that we talked about that. We said whether they won or they lost, that all hell was going to break loose, and they won.
Yeah, so Arsenal's in, right? Man City, which was like the least likely thing I thought would happen, lost midweek, so that made Arsenal win the league before they even had to step on the field, so that was cool. They play the Champions League this Saturday, which is like, for everything, champions of Europe, this is the biggest deal. They play this Saturday versus PSG. And then, Arsenal fans are buzzing. And then, for me, the big one, I feel like the World Cup isn't getting a ton of traction right now. It just feels like it's not, like the buzz hasn't been there. But the U.S. put out their roster for the World Cup. And it's there. So the team is selected, and now we're getting ready for everything to go forward to the World Cup.
Are there any surprises on the roster?
I personally, I have no problem with it. But a lot of people are really upset that Diego Luna, he plays for Salt Lake. A lot of people are upset that he didn't make the roster because he had a big part of this recent group's success. They won. He scored some big goals. He was a big figure. He broke his nose and kept playing. And it was just he was one of the faces of this new group. And he got left off the roster. So that has people pretty upset. But the way that I look at this U.S. team is that I think that individual talent, it's the best it's ever been, in terms of the individual player. But we haven't seen them put that talent all together as a group yet and have success as a group. So can they figure that out in 20 days? That's the big question.
It seems like it's kind of late to announce the teams. No, is this pretty standard because these guys have all played together, so it's not that big of a deal to just announce it at the last minute?
This is standard. There's different videos. Neymar made Brazil. He was super pumped. There's different videos going around. This is kind of when they announce it. But when you're in the mix, right? And then it comes down to however many guys, and then the rumor online, and I don't know if this is true, is that the U.S. players found out via email, which would be really crappy. But
what do you want, like a call? Kind of like...
Yeah, please pick up the phone.
If positive emails are good, too. Normally emails are bad, like, hey...
No, the players that got cut got the emails. I don't know if the players made a call.
Oh, the players got cut. Oh, no. Oh, boy, that's not great.
I would want a phone call. I feel like if I was on the fringe.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, because I thought like I said, you never really get good emails, and then you were just saying it's a bad email, so... Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah. That's tough.
So that's unfortunate for them. And then, so the U.S. roster's revealed. I think it's a good group. Obviously, time will tell. We'll dive into that a little bit more as the World Cup gets a little bit closer to dive into positions and things like that as people want to learn about the U.S. Arsenal, Champions League final this weekend. In the championship, apparently everybody's happy about the championship now because there's all these derby games that didn't used to exist, but now, or they existed before, and then some of the teams went to the Premier League, but now they're all back in the championship. So apparently the championship is just loaded with derby games. So that's awesome for that.
Okay.
For that league, and from there, it's just Lou City on the weekend for the Rowdies and gearing up for a big one, national TV game.
What about that tournament that Leo Fernandez? Is that going to be on TV?
Yeah, I'm going to that.
Are you going?
I forgot about that.
I thought it was last week, but it's this week, right?
It's this week. Yeah, I forgot I'm going to that. So I'm going to that. I'm going up there on Thursday. That'll be on TV. It'll be streamed somewhere. I don't know. You can look it up. TST.
I saw
TST
Peacock tournament was one of them.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be. McAfee was there last year, so it was all over ESPN. I don't think he's going this year. But so the TST's tournament this week, Champions League final this weekend, Rowdies Lou City this weekend, big game. USA just unveiled their World Cup roster. Big deal. Teams are unveiling their World Cup rosters as they get ready for what's going to take over the summer. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in the soccer world. Rowdies are obviously buzzing. 14 games now that they've been unbeaten if you date back to last year, which is the franchise's longest streak. Haven't lost a home game in over 250 days. unbeaten on the season, all the superlatives, all the stuff.
Dude, I got to be honest.
Everything.
I got to be honest, man. Like just around my neighborhood, like I found out one of my neighbors went to the Rowdies game, and then when I got home Saturday night, another one of our neighbors asked like how the game was, and he's like, "Did they win again?" I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, still undefeated." We started making small talk about the Rowdies. There's a lot, man. In St. Pete, there's a lot of small talk going about the Rowdies. People that might not even be soccer fans are aware of the fact that they have not lost yet.
There's buzz.
Yeah,
there's definitely buzz building. Like people talk to me all the time, and on the Tampa side, they stop me and say like, "Oh man, they won again." I'm like, "Yeah, they keep winning. It's amazing.
It's cool.
Awesome."
It's awesome.
So the buzz is building. We just got to keep the buzz going. Big game on the weekend, and obviously, like we said, we're going to have Ryan here to talk about all things going on with the Tampa Bay Rowdies to get everybody up to speed for what's going to be an awesome, hectic summer. And from there, it's just keep tuning in and big game on the weekend.
I'm going to see if he'll get me a new hat. I'm going to ask him when we have him on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, as promised, we are back with a very special guest here, president of the club, Tampa Bay Rowdies, Ryan Helfrick. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. You're a busy man. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
How are you doing after the Cavs lost last night? I thought it was kind of rude for Jeff to ask you to come on, the podcast after what happened. Because I of course know we had the conversation that you're a Cavs fan. How are you holding up?
Went to bed after the first quarter, so
okay.
They're out. And, I was over that at about 8:30 last night.
That's how you do it right there.
Just a well-rested, just a good night of sleep.
I wasn't gonna waste my time with that.
Nice, there we go. All right, so I think, one of the things that we can cover a lot of different ground here, but I think one of the things that I really want to talk about and make sure that the people that are listening here is we have so many different things going on within the club. There are so many different things that we have going on this summer. There's a lot of just different things to look forward to. So kind of hearing from you, the man himself, the architect of all these things, just about the different things that we have going on this summer, the different things that people can look forward to. So I guess let's start with, there's a wide range. World Cup watch parties.
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk a little bit about World Cup watch parties and what the Tampa Bay Rowdies have going on, because there's a lot of fun things that we've been bouncing around internally.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely excited for the World Cup. Definitely excited for the watch parties. I've been in this market since 2010, and there isn't one World Cup game that I've been to at a local bar or a restaurant where it's not completely packed 2 hours before the game starts. So the fact that this year we're bringing it to Al Lang Stadium, right?
Wow.
And we're looking at 4,000 to 5,000 people in Al Lang with $5 drinks, $3 family-friendly drinks, non-alcoholic drinks, food, entertainment, DJs, live music, and then you put a cap on the night with U.S. men's national team playing Paraguay. Can't get much better than that.
Man, how much planning did that take? Or was that simple for you to throw together there?
No, I wouldn't say it was simple, but I think it's working through partners Anheuser-Busch, PNB Events, which is run by Pete Bullen, who owns the Galley downtown, and Mary Margaret's. He's been a huge supporter of the club, and we supported him 3.5 years ago when the World Cup was in Qatar, and he had watch parties at Williams Park and Janice. And that's when it really changed for us. Janice only had about a 4-day lead to get that watch party up and going, and he got about 3,500 people there. So we started promoting this about a month out, and Al Lang's going to be rocking. It's going to be a good time.
Well, that's the thing about the World Cup watch parties, right? It's like if you go to one bar and it's full, you just look on your phone and you're like, all right, where's the next spot?
You got it.
Yeah, and that's the best thing. And then the timing of the games this World Cup is so much better as well, because that first game kicks off at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, it's a lot better than going to the bars at 6 a.m. on a work day or 2 a.m. on a work day. So, yeah, I mean, the U.S. men's national team first match, 9 p.m., so it's going to be perfect.
Ryan, let's be honest here. What are we going to do? We get these people that are coming to Al Lang for the first time, World Cup action. How do we get them to become Rowdies fans?
Yeah, so one, I think we got to get them, once we get them in the stadium, they're going to have a good experience. I always tell people, and maybe it's the same thing for you, Seth, right? Like, once we get individuals out to the game and to experience a match, they're not always hooked, but they'll come back.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think it's just about getting, whether it's hardcore soccer fans that follow European football or South American football, whatever it might be, or if it's just casual fans that are into it for the World Cup, we need to get them into the stadium. You're going to see the location, the background, the breeze coming off the bay, the pitch. It's the best in America. I'll keep on saying that. Just like we have the best team in America, we have the best pitch in America. So I think once you get them in the building and they experience it, it's a game changer. And then it's all about how do we get them back, right? So that's something that we're constantly working on.
I was speaking, I forget who I was talking to. It was one of my buddies who hadn't come to a game, I don't think, since I was playing, so like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And then they came to the game on Saturday, and they were like, I didn't even realize the view. Because they were so used to sitting on where the field went the other way.
Field went,
he was like, I didn't even realize.
Base to right field.
He was like, I didn't even realize the view. Like, I didn't even understand how beautiful the backdrop is because I was always spent all that time staring at the outfield wall, staring the other way when the field ran the other way. So you've spent a lot of years, 16 years with the Tampa Bay Rowdies?
16 years with the Rowdies.
16 years with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Throughout that process, what has been like the biggest monumental things that have kind of shifted the organization to where it is now? Because I remember going and watching games at the Yankee Stadium, right? That was when I was playing at USF, and then to be playing again at Al Lang, practicing at Schimberg. I laugh because that was, I mean, I like Schimberg, who are good people there, but that wasn't a great training facility if we're just being transparent. And then the field shifting the other way. What are some of the biggest monumental moments in these 16 years for you that has really shifted the projection and what the club looks like today?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of key things that come into play over the time, right? So I think let's kick it off. 2012, won the championship. Now, even though we won the championship, I wouldn't say the crowds were much bigger the following year. It's not like we gained thousands of season ticket members or anything like that. But I feel like for the first time that really put us back on the map in the Tampa Bay region. Meaning we came back and the rebirth of the Rowdies was in 2010 and there was a little bit of buzz about it, but now the media knew who we were. So that was a big moment. When Bill Edwards ended up purchasing the franchise and putting about $8 million in renovations into Al Lang and adding in the midfield seats and changing out all the seats in the Stadium Bowl, which were blue and red, but because of obviously being in the sun all the time and the damage from them, they were like a whitish blue and a pinkish red, I guess you could say. But taking those out, putting in the green and yellow seats, renovations to the locker room, right? And just the more professional standards that we created, putting in a new pitch, right? The way that the field runs now, I think that was a big moment. And now we could build off of that experience. Then you talk about some of the big names that we started bringing in back when we played in the NASL, the Joe Coles who played for Chelsea, the Neil Collins, the Freddie Adeus, right? Like you start naming people and players that have played for this club, and it's a pretty impressive list, right? And then once Neil got into the coaching seat in 2018, it was, and then we started going on these playoff runs, that like set the standard. Now with Dom in his seat, the standards have been raised, right? So I think as you look at it over the journey, I would say probably the last 10 to 13 years, there's been certain things, whether it's on the team side with the players, whether it's Jeff winning the championship with that 2012 team, and then the renovations to the stadium, and then the media talking a little bit more about us, and then Neil Collins coming in here, reshaping the team, going to back Eastern Conference Finals, and now the momentum that we have going on now, it's just how do we continue to build off of that? And that's what we look at each and every day.
How did you get in this position? Did you start off as president?
Heck no.
No, okay, I didn't think so.
No chance.
Were you Pete the Pelican?
We didn't.
I would have been Pete the Pelican. I'll do anything for this club. Literally, like if we need Pete the Pelican somewhere, now somebody's going to ask me to go do appearance as Pete the Pelican, which is fine. I can do it. I just can't dance like Pete, and I can't do all the different things that Pete does. But if you want me to stand there and take photos, I'll do that all day.
It'd be an undercover boss episode.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
We need to do that. I like
then
that.
he gives the real Pete $10,000. We find out who's going
When you realize how hot it is on the
Yeah,
inside.
right.
When you realize how hot it is.
Oh, it's got to be brutal in that thing.
So what did you start off as?
No, so I started off 2007 with FC Dallas and Major League Soccer and ticket sales. That's all I did.
Wow.
Pounded the phones, sold season tickets and group tickets. I played soccer in college, was super passionate about the sport. I was in corporate America for about 3 months and said, there is no way I can do this. Like, this is not for me.
Are you like a sales guy?
I am a sales guy.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But here's the thing. I can only sell things I'm passionate about. I'm not one of these guys that's just going to like fake it till I make it type thing. Like I really have to be passionate about it. And I think that's what helped me on the starting ticket sales with professional soccer. I was passionate about growing the game. I always tell people it's not about, listen, we want to make a positive impact in people's lives now. I get that, right? But 50 years from now, if I'm still around, I don't think many people are going to remember me, and I used to say this in ticket sales, people aren't going to remember me by how many tickets I sold. It's about how you treated people, and then it's just being a small piece of growing the game of soccer, right? Like 100 years from now, the people in professional soccer, behind the scenes, the players, right, the coaches, all of us involved, we're playing a small part in growing this game. And to be a part of that is something special. We're the pioneers for professional soccer in the United States of America. And there are people who came before us who started this journey in the 70s and 80s. Now it's our turn. We have the torch. And we have a huge responsibility not only to grow the game, but to impact people's lives through the game of soccer, to bring people together. And I think if we continue to do that, we only leave the club that we're all stewards of, and the game in a better place than where it all began when we started.
Damn, I'm fired up, man. Do you feel that responsibility? Did you know that? Have you gotten that speech before?
We talked about it a little bit.
Okay, all right. That's big. You're not just like trying to do this for the Rowdies to get people to buy tickets. Like this is a big picture for you for soccer.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. Now listen, let's not be mistaken. I bleed green and gold.
Oh, for sure.
To my core.
Yeah.
Right. This is my club. Everybody always asks me, "Who's your club?" Thinking I have a club in the English Premier League. No, the Rowdies are my club.
There you go.
That's the one club that I love more than anything. Right. But I do believe, like, as stewards of this club, it's our job to grow this brand too. It's why we brought Jeff Attinella on board. Right. He knows the club. He's played for the club. He's had the blood, sweat, and tears with the club from a different perspective than any of us in the front office. Right. So he can speak to it at a different level than even I can. You know, I might be around the players. I'm around the coaches. I wasn't really around Jeff that much when he was playing. But when you look at what we did and what we've accomplished, and listen, we're a small staff, but we're a mighty staff, and we'll always put our best foot forward. And there are things that we could probably be doing better. And we want to take that feedback and listen to that. But ultimately, we have a job, and it's to grow this brand. It's to grow what I would call Rowdies Nation. There's too many people talking about us in the region, but not attending our games. And with that, it's our job to dig down deep and get in the trenches and really make sure that people get out there and experience what we all experienced on Saturday night, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Jeff taking his shirt off.
Jeff taking his shirt off, right? But listen, at the end of the day, we can't control wins and losses.
No.
I was telling Jeff this morning, all the texts that I got yesterday from friends and on Sunday from friends, from my parents who know nothing about soccer and only watch it because they want to support their son. The only thing they're talking about is this guy. They're not even talking about the 3-0 win.
Oh, man.
They're talking about TARPS off.
I actually feel bad about that.
Right? No, it's good.
I actually don't feel great about that.
No, it's good because it's about the experience at the end of the day, right? So, like, people came, they got to witness a win.
The crowd went crazy.
The crowd went crazy. But then all of a sudden, you know, I'm standing over in midfield. I'm watching the match from where I typically watch it from, and our head of soccer operations, Nika Castillo, and our VP of operations, Jeff Parkinson, are next to me. I can't remember. It was Nika or Jeff. They said, "You see that guy up there? There's one." And literally within 2 or 3 minutes, there were like 300 of them. And then it went crazy. I said, "Do you guys see Jeff? Like, he's pumping his fists up there." I was like, "Is this going to happen?" Next thing I know, shirt out the window, there we go. But it was awesome. It was a good experience.
It was fun. Yeah, I think I blacked out a little bit, and then I came back to.
Let's go, boys!
It's for the boys! For the boys!
He thought he was looking at a fine from the league for a minute there until they shared the footage on their Instagram.
Yeah, no, listen. Anything to showcase the experience at Al Lang is important. And listen, we do a good job. Like, definitely helps that the team is just crushing it this year. Right, and they're on a run that everybody should be speaking about. Yes, there are runs in professional soccer. There are very few runs like this. And to start the season the way that we have, and even dating back to the last couple of games last year, it's been really, really impressive. And the turnaround, listen, we have 21 new guys on roster. If I would have told anybody, if anybody would have even told me going into this year, like, you guys are going to start off like this, 12 games unbeaten, I'd say you're crazy. In fact, it was a different message to ownership. It was like, hey, listen, obviously with new ownership, and they've been awesome and super supportive, but it was, we have so many new players. It might take a couple months for all of us to click and to get things going on the field. And here we are. You want to talk about setting the bar high. The bar is set high, but we like it.
It just took that first game with the rain delay for everybody to bond, and then boom. Now look at this. This all happened.
Yeah, it's all traced back to the Birmingham locker.
Yeah,
and
right.
Rain delay. Well, I think that's been the craziest part is, like, usually when you put a team together like that, it's I mean, if I was a member of said team or, like, looking at it from the outside looking in, you kind of look at it as like a 2-year project, right? Like, you need time for the team to get together. You need time for this to gel. You need the time to implement, the coach to implement things. So, I mean, like, for me, I've said this before on here, this isn't one of the biggest stories in soccer. I think this is one of the better stories in all of sports when you really look back at what they did with their roster, like the way that everything's been rebuilt and what the head coach is doing. For me, it's just an incredible sports story.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the unique things, right? When Nico and I were interviewing Dom, and Nico did a lot of the heavy lifting. You need to meet Nico, by the way. He's our head of soccer operations. But it was one of those things when we spoke to him.
Did you know right away?
I knew within, so listen, so it was July 3rd, so it was the day before 4th of July. We had the day off, and I had to call. Nico set it up for myself and Dom to speak, and Nico was going to be on it. And I want to say the call was supposed to go from 3 to 4. I texted my wife at about 4 o'clock. I said, I'm going to be home late tonight. And my girls had just both had their tonsils out and tubes in their ears. So I was like, oh, this is not going to fly, but we got to figure this out, right? I think we got off the call at about 7 or 7:30. And I knew within the first 20, 25 minutes, right? Very shortly after the conversation started, it was, yeah, this is the guy. And Nico didn't, like, listen, before I even got on that call, Nico had spoken to him a couple times. And all he said is, I think you'll like him, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I want you, like, to ask questions and, like, we can discuss it afterwards. Let's get a feel for this. And I don't want to put any preconceived notions in your mind. And I knew, and it just kept going and going. And we were talking, and we were asking questions. And it was good, too, because it wasn't just about pro soccer. It just wasn't about the Rowdies and USL. It's about his family and where he came from and his story and his perspective on things.
He's got a wild story, too, about, like, going to Spain and not being able to speak Spanish. And...
You want to talk about resilience? That guy has a wild story. Even when you talk to him, you need to get with him and ask him about public speaking. He's a phenomenal public speaker. I think he would tell you that when he first started in coaching, he probably didn't have that skill set. But long story short, he ended up taking classes with some comms executive, some PR executive, but the way that he got it is it's insane. I can't, if I even try telling the story, I'll butcher it. So we'll save that.
Yeah, we have a part 2 coming.
But it's amazing. But it just shows you, like, he wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to give in. He wanted to learn how to communicate better, and he just went for it all in. And that's just kind of his attitude, right, on life. Like, he's going to go all in on the things that he's passionate about. And I think one of the things that stuck out to me was, okay, when he came on board last year, the team was definitely struggling. We knew that. But in speaking with him, he was like, no, we're gonna righten this ship, and we're going to get that ship going the right way fast. And we did that this offseason. And what a lot of people don't know, we don't have the biggest budgets in the league. We're not even top 3 on that on player salary side, and I won't get into all the details there. But the way that Dom and Nico go about recruiting players and getting them to come here, they want to play for this club. They want to play for this franchise. We are the standard in the USL. We should always be the standard in the USL. And now it's about taking it from here to here. And I think what Dom will tell you, I think what the players will tell you is they haven't even scratched the surface yet. And we're on a 12-game unbeaten streak. There is so many areas to improve. That's scary, right? Now, I think for me, it's also like, okay, we have to, like, I have high expectations, but also let's not let this get out of control, right? These are professional athletes. They're playing other tough teams. There's obviously a target on our back now, and we're going to get everybody's best week in and week out. But we're okay with that. Bring it.
Love it. All right, so I got a question about not really necessarily Dom, but like the entire process.
Yeah.
When a job like the Tampa Bay Rowdies coaching job becomes available, how many how many people, how many phone calls, what's a day in your life like when that job is open?
I think I sent my resume.
Yeah, they come out of the woodwork. And if I threw out some names that were interested in the position, you'd be like, what? Are you serious? Wow. And then Nico is just getting swarmed by agents. Like, I mean, they're just coming out of left field, right?
Does that make you feel kind of good, Elite?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's right. It's the standard that's been creative. The name obviously carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of individuals who want to be a part of something special like the Rowdies. And what I'll say is, right, it's not a knock on the other clubs in the USL. There's just a lot of history and tradition here, right? Like this club brought Tampa Bay region its first sports championship ever in 1975. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of responsibility. As Jeff will tell you, as you probably know as well, there are several former Rowdies from the original era that live in the area. I think on Saturday night, just counting the ones that came out, I think we had 9 or 10 come out to the match, and they still follow the team religiously, and they'll come out to training, and they're supportive, but they're going to give you their feedback, right? Which we appreciate. And so when I think you have a position like this open, and this, listen, I don't say this to be arrogant, but it really is. It's like if a position opens with the Green Bay Packers, or if a position opens with the Boston Celtics or LA Lakers, like you get the top of the top that want to be in there for it. And I think it's just based on the history, the tradition, where we play, the stadium, the setup. We have the training facility. You want to talk about moments throughout the original or the modern era that have got us to where we are. Training facility is second to none in the league. And in the club that we're going to play this weekend, Louisville City, they have a beautiful training facility as well. That's the only one that I would put up against ours. And they have a brand new stadium, and they've been dominant over the last decade. And what I'd say about that is I think it's a very much it's a respected rivalry. The players respect each other. The coaches respect each other. Organization to organization, we respect each other. They have a good group of people over there. Great leadership over there. I respect the hell out of those guys. But at the end of the day, there's been some big games against Louisville City, and this is a big match for us, right? Like, we're at the top of the table. They're typically at the top of the table. They're near the top of the table. They're coming off of a tough loss on the road. Like,
they just lost to Miami.
We are going to get their A game, right? And if we show up with our A game, it's gonna be one to remember.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It will be.
So as we continue to dive into the different things, obviously the team's doing well. Dom, I think that there's also a lot of different things going on within the USL that people are curious about, and different things that are going on in that fashion. So a little bit about the transition. When I was on the Rowdies, obviously it was the NASL, and then the transition over to the USL. What did that change mean for the organization at that point in time? And then kind of just in general as a whole, where do you see this USL? Obviously, there's talk of promotion relegation. There's been players that are getting sold more. It seems like the dynamics of what the USL is becoming and what they want to become is changing rapidly. And just as somebody that's been involved in it for so long, just kind of talk about the transition into that league and then what the league's growth means to the game of soccer and, I guess just for the Rowdies as well.
Yeah, so I think let's start with the transition into the league. I think that was big because as great as the old or the rebirth of the North American Soccer League was, that league never got to more than like 10 to 12 clubs, right? I think at some points there were like 8 clubs. There were teams in, teams out, new teams every year. And I think once we got into the USL, more of an established league, right? And listen, I think across the USL ecosystem as well, there's been clubs, new clubs that have come in and clubs that aren't in it anymore from when we started, right? So I think there's still some challenges at times. But again, when you look at the league as a whole, it is so much more competitive, right? And what I mean by that, when I say it's more competitive, I think the sheer number of teams, the sheer number of kids playing soccer in the United States now and feeding into these professional clubs, I think the standard of soccer of which is being played week in and week out is much better than what I would say it was 10, 12 years ago, right? No offense, Jeff.
Yeah, no, it is for sure.
But I think, I mean, I think any team in this league can win any weekend. Like, I know we're on this 12-game unbeaten streak, including the USL Prince Tires Cup, but at the end of the day, right, like, any team can win.
They've had some close games.
I mean, there's a lot of parity.
There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of
talent as well.
Players in this league now, where I think 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of these players are signing MLS contracts. The MLS has kind of changed the way they're doing business, which means that these players are in the USL making good money and playing at a really high level. So I mean, it's across the league.
Yeah. So I just think the level of play has been raised. I think the level of coaches across the league have been raised. I know you'll hear fans talking about it. There have been increased standards, which is always nice, you know, for the players, for the coaching staff, and really for the sporting side. The front offices have grown, right? When we were in the old NASL, our front office was 12 people, right? We're over 30 now.
Wow.
Right? So it's grown quite a bit. And then I think, you know, as you talk about USL Premier coming into play, Division I coming into play, all right, now we have this league in the United States that's going to have 3 divisions, and every game is going to matter with promotion relegation. And how that's going to work, I know there's still discussions ongoing about that, but the work that the leagues put in, the excitement from the teams, the fan bases, it's been great. Now I think what needs to happen is people have to see it in motion. Meaning the first year you might not have just a huge bandwagon of people jump on, but once everybody starts realizing, and the clubs have to educate the fan base in all the regions that they're in, the league has to educate the fan base. It's going to be really a group effort to educate everybody, the meaning behind this. But all of a sudden, and I hate to say this, we have a year like we had last year. Those games are mattering, you know, in July and August, and I'm starting to get a little nervous about my job and the club, and like there's real, not to say that there isn't pressure now. There should be pressure. There should always be pressure. But when you start talking promotion relegation, listen, I love soccer, but it is a cruel game. And right, you have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And
I'm thinking about you're out there in the July heat, you know, fighting for your life out there, man.
I mean, you are, right? Yeah. But even you get to October, if you're sitting, whether it's fringe towards the top of the table or the bottom of the table, like those games mean you might be knocked out of the playoffs if you're a club, but those last 5 or 6 games mean a lot, right? And I think it means a lot in terms of not only for your club and your fan base and the pride of your fan base and the pride of your club, but there's other things that go into it as well. A lot of these League One clubs are not in massive markets. They're not easy to get to. I would not want to be on a League One travel schedule right now as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We have the best airport in America. We get to fly direct pretty much everywhere. A lot of these places you aren't flying direct. You know, just from a logistics standpoint, right? There's a lot of challenges that come into play with it. But let's not talk about that because
I'm getting anxiety.
You know, we're. But I always say, right? Like if we're in a position where we're getting relegated, I should lose my job.
Well,
hands down.
Yeah, but keep the podcast going.
Keep the podcast. Yeah, Jeff gets to stay.
Yeah, through the dark times, you know, people want to hear about it.
Yeah, but it's reality, right?
That's the cool thing about it, because everybody, you know, I get asked a lot of questions about it from walks of all the soccer life, right? But it's when the players come to the MLS, like the big time players come to the MLS, they say there's no pressure because it doesn't matter. You could lose every single game, and you know what? The next year I'm still getting my same contract. The team's still in Division I. And there's no pressure, real pressure of like losing that status. Mm-hmm. And for the USL, they had to have a move, right? You make your chess move, and the chess move is promotion relegation, which adds so much layers of excitement to the game where even if you're the bottom tier team, you're pushing, because at the end of the day, the jump from going from the top division to Division II, I mean, there's financial implications. All the implications you could possibly think of. So it is such a massive, massive deal that I don't know that the average American fan realizes what that actually means.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's so many different challenges that come into play, and the results really do matter. And listen, you see it over in Europe. Like, it can make or break a club. There's
This
some
past
clubs
weekend,
that go.
This is past weekend. It was a crazy. It was
was
relegation weekend.
It was insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'm sure Dom's happy about now, right? Tottenham made it out.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit happier, which is definitely good. But speaking about pressure, I think, and not to switch gears here, but I think that is where the success of this year, from what you see taking place on the field, that's where Dom's hit the nail on the head. I think we could all say, and I think if you speak to the players as well, you have 23 guys on that roster that can start, right? And those guys are fighting for their spot in the starting 11 week in and week out. I will say this. I don't think there's a lot of clubs within the USL Championship that have the depth that just say, okay, it's our third game in a week. We're going to put Austin Pack in goal, and we're going to have 5 or 6 guys who haven't started in the last few weeks. They're going to start, right? And then you go out there and you win 3-0. Like, pretty impressive, right?
We were talking about that earlier. It's, the lineup changed so much, but it's still names that you're kind of used to seeing.
Yeah.
He's done such a good job of balancing the lineup where you're never like not giving guys playing time that deserve the playing time, but he figures out a way to manage it, which is very difficult as a coach because everybody wants to be on the field all the time. But then we were talking about Gino coming on. I mean, he's a guy he's on the LA roster.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a transfer from LA, or he's a loan from LA. What he did in the 45 minutes he had. Like, you can tell that he's special. He's somebody that could add to the dynamic as well. So there's still players that we're trying to fit into this mix that the depth is just off the charts. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Isaiah LaFleur,
just added.
Guy comes in second half, and you see what he's capable of doing. That's great. And then
that's nice.
That's nice, right? And then you have Jeff's boy, Big Russ. He's sitting up by me watching the game, right? He'll be back sooner rather than later.
I was worried.
But then you have Leland, you have Gennaro.
There's guys we haven't there's talented guys we haven't even seen yet.
We haven't even seen yet. That before the season started, as a fan, you're saying okay, that guy's starting. That's one of the best center backs in the league. That's one of the best right or left backs in the league. That's one of the best this, that, and they're not even playing yet. We're on a 12-game unbeaten streak this year, dating back to last year. Like Jeff said, broke the record. 14 games unbeaten.
Yep.
That's insane. There's only 30 regular season games in the year. So once you take the USL Prince Tires Cup out, you have 30 regular season games. You're at you're 33% through the season. By the time we get to that July 4th game, we're well past, we're going to be right around the halfway point. So the next month is huge. The last week we just had, what was it? I was talking to you about it this morning. We conceded 1 goal. We scored, 8?
And there's been 3 goals scored on us at home.
3 goals scored on us at home. And it's not even us puffing our chest out.
Just
listen,
facts, people.
These are, facts. Only facts. But at the end of the day, again, I think the team is still gelling. They're all still getting used to each other.
I said that to Dom the other day when it was after the New Mexico game. I was just like, man, you guys are just getting better every week. He goes, we still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff. I love that stuff. You love a coach. You love when a coach is just that's the immediate response.
Yeah. But listen, Dom's been great. His entire staff has been great. The players have been great. Everybody's bought in, which is huge. And I think the one thing that Dom really hits home with the players, and again, when you guys speak to him, he'll probably talk about this in more detail, but he always talks about club first, Rowdies first. Yes, we know you play this game because you love it, and you play it for yourself, your family members, the people that you love. You play it for the Rowdies fans as well, right? And what this club means to so many different people around this region. But at the end of the day, it's club first. And it's the mentality that we have in the front office as well. That's why, listen, that's why I was joking. If I have to be Pete the Pelican, I'll be Pete the Pelican, right? At the end of the day, it's club first. Yeah. We have to do what's best for the club and to continue to grow this club. And if you're not willing to get your hands a little dirty and do different things, then probably not the best fit for you.
I think that there are a lot of fans out there that also feel the same way that you do about this club and about this organization. And even when I was playing, that was something that separated this club from a lot of other clubs in this league. And, just from your perspective, if there's a fan listening to this that feels the same way that you do, it takes a village to grow this thing, right? Like even Seth's been coming out to games. When he gets tickets, he gives tickets to fans to his friends that have never been there before, to get them to come back again. What would be your message to the fan base that does have that passion, that shares that unique passion that you have for this club, and how they could help contribute to what we're trying to do?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, right? One, continue to love the club. As I've been saying the last few weeks, and I probably should be shouting from the rooftops a little bit louder, but it's telling everybody about the best team in America right now. And it's not only the best team in America, but it's the Rowdies, our brand, the history of the club. And I think there are a lot of individuals out there, and there are thousands upon thousands of soccer supporters and fans in the Tampa Bay region. And a lot of times it's like, but it's not Major League Soccer. It's not English Premier League or whatever it might be. The message to them is, if you want soccer to grow in this country, and if you want to have something like that close to home, then support your local soccer club. Bottom line, right? It's the easiest thing to do. Listen, I'm a Cleveland fan, unfortunately. I've been supporting Cleveland sports most of my life. It is a struggle, but you know what? There is an emotional connection there with the Cavs, the Browns, the baseball team. My baseball team's the Rays. Period.
Okay.
Yeah, I dropped
got
the
rid
other
of the
one.
Guardians.
Yeah, got rid of the Guardians, right? But at the end of the day, you have an emotional connection to the club. You have an emotional connection to the region, just like we talked about the work that we put in behind the scenes or for the club. We're pioneers for the game of soccer. It's no different for the fan base. They can also participate in that, right? They can also grow the game.
It would be lovely.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Ralph's Mob, Skyway Casuals, like they're doing it maybe without even knowing that they're doing it, every single week by just showing up and going crazy. Like that kind of stuff's contagious when you see people's passion. Like you're like, what are they passionate about? Like I can get behind this, whether it's the guys, whether it's the team, whether it's the city. You talk about this is an MLS or English Premier, but this is St. Pete. Like St. Pete's proud of everything that they have. They're proud of their teams. They support everything like that. So this is another one of those. This is another one of those deals. I know there's always talk about Tampa Bay and crossing the bridge, and I just feel like there's so many people in St. Pete that have been here forever that haven't experienced this. And like I said, as soon as they do, it's completely changed. And there's just a sense of pride, with the team and with the city. And, just being around the team and being around everybody, it's just a bunch of good guys and easy to support. And that's one of the things about doing this podcast is showcasing those guys so the town can see, these guys that are going to, play for them every single Saturday.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the other things, right? Like, we always try to sign good human beings. Like, you can be great at soccer. At the end of the day, if you're not a good human being and you're not willing to ingrain yourself and entrench yourself within the community, this probably isn't the best place for you, right? You could have all the talent in the world, and I think that's what makes us unique. And, Jeff, you've been around the guys in the locker room. You've been around some of these guys on the podcast and at the games and bringing your girls down or your daughter down on the field with some of her friends afterwards to get autographs.
Thank you.
Like you're welcome. They're just really good guys.
They are.
Right? Like there were times in the past where you're trying to get players to go sign autographs, and this is a long time ago, and it could be challenging, right? Like it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, do clinics out there at youth clubs? I don't want to do that, right? just find me. And these guys, like, it's one of the things I would say when, and it's nothing against former ownership, but specifically when the Rays acquired the Rowdies at the end of the 2018 season, right? From then on, it's been a focus, and it started with other individuals who were in leadership at the time. It's like, we're going to hire good people. Like the players who come in, first and foremost, they have to be good people, and that's something that we really focus on. It's great if you have all the soccer skills in the world, but if you're a jerk, probably not the best fit, like I said.
I agree.
There's also been that balance as well where every player we've had on, just talking to guys in the locker room, they all harp the same message that Dom harps. We want to bring the Tampa Bay Rowdies back to what the Rowdies from last year to back to what the organization is and what the organization means. And we even had Leo on last week, and he's talking about how players around the league were coming up to him always, I want to be on the Rowdies, I want to be on the Rowdies. So I think that it just goes to show like what the club is, how special it is to everybody. And then, if this is a club that you're passionate about and you love it, we're working hard every single day to try to grow it and try to grow the fan base and to continue to grow the brand. But if you love this club and you want people to know about what's going on here, the best thing you could do is, as stupid as it sounds, like tell a friend. Tell a friend to come to the game, come check it out. I have so many people all the time that say to me, I've always wanted to go to a Rowdies game. And it's like, okay, well then, like,
make it happen.
Go do it. Like go do it. Go check it out. See what you think, and you come back. If you hate it, tell me. But you won't hate it. You'll love it, and you'll go back again. So just start going.
Listen, out of all the sports that I've tried to force my daughter to watch, she's finally in on the Bears because of they're decent. It's exciting. But she will seek out the Rowdies to watch with me, which is not anything she's ever done. She will watch the Rowdies highlights on YouTube. We got home from the game Saturday. She goes to YouTube and starts watching the highlights. Okay, she was trying to see us at the stands, but still, it's consuming her, and like that's how you make fans. It's just like, and you're helping out by bringing her on the field and her going to the games, and whether it's them scoring 2 minutes in, like that stuff's exciting for kids, and I love seeing her passionate about something and her little soccer friends, and it's just it's awesome. The passion is great, and when you see obviously your kids that are into something, man, that makes you that much more into it. So it's working with my family.
No, listen, I have 2 girls. My little one, she's 6. She plays in Little Rowdies. I don't think she really plays. She kind of like helps the coach out, right? Lots of handballs, lots of whatever. Other one's big into gymnastics. They don't know what's going on the field.
Right.
They have no idea, right? And people might think my kids get special privileges that no other kid gets. For the most part, when they come to the games, they're sitting in the stands, and then afterwards, similar to your daughter and her friends, it's like, okay, I can bring you to this area and just stand here, and like players are going to sign autographs, right? But you speak to so many different people, and it's like that's how you create that emotional connection. They bring their kids to the game, and it's like, I remember a game last year, I'll be honest, and I remember reading some of the survey responses. We got smashed by Rhode Island in May, 3-0. Right? But guys stayed around afterwards and signed autographs. And there were a few people who emailed me directly and just say, you got a new fan. Like, team lost, but it wasn't about that for my kid. She got to meet this player and this player and this player and got a selfie and got an autograph. And now this is her favorite player and she wants to come back, right? Like, that's how you create a fan base. The accessibility, showcasing these guys' personalities. Yeah, what they do on the field is awesome, and they've been great this year. But again, it's those unique interactions and those money can't buy experiences for your kids, right? Like taking them on the field and getting autographs after the game, or taking them on the field and watching fireworks. And as you're watching fireworks, there's players walking by and your kids are getting photos and autographs and all those things. You can't beat it. And again, I always say to the people that mention, hey, the Rowdies, it's in St. Pete, it's on Saturday night, even better. Because I used to live in Tampa, and I know this young man does as well.
Yeah.
And when I lived in Tampa on Saturday night, I was in North Tampa, and it would take me 25 to 30 minutes to get from North Tampa to Allianz Stadium, park my car, and walk in that building. Mm-hmm. So the traffic that everybody thinks about during the work week typically isn't there on the weekend. No. That's number one. Number two, we're talking like in today's day and age where everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, I'm generalizing here, so many people have these short attention spans. The game kicks off at 7:30. You can be in your car and on the highway by 9:30.
You can.
I was at the Edition by 10:15 on Saturday night.
Right?
So.
Like, there you go, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we're talking a 2-hour event. It's very affordable, right? It's best stadium location in the country.
Agreed.
Right? On the waterfront. You can walk to hundreds of bars, restaurants, museums, the pier, green space, parks, you name it, it's around, right? You could go to the Rays game if you want to and just walk 12 blocks down the road to Lang.
Hop on a little trolley.
Or hop on the trolley and make it down if you care to be in a climate-controlled environment, right? So, right? But it's just one of those things where, like, it's the best-kept secret, and it shouldn't be a secret anymore. And everybody who is a Rowdies fan or supporter and says that they're a Rowdies fan or supporter, they should be shouting from the rooftops that people need to get on this train because it's leaving the station, right? And we want you on board, but we're on a journey, and it's only going to get better from here. There's going to be more ups. There's going to be downs. It's going to happen. right? But at the end of the day, it's gonna be a fun journey, and everybody should hop on now.
I'm on.
I'm fully on board.
Yeah, well,
invested.
You're so on board. You have to go to a meeting directly after this. So
I know I'm filling for media. Thank you, Jeff.
Exactly. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Man, I mean, I think that's a good way to wrap it. I have that's like that. I mean, nail on the head, right? So that's exactly, I think, what we're trying. Did I get that expression wrong? Hammer, nail on the head.
You got the nail on the head. No, yeah. And I have more questions, but I'll just.
No, go for it.
No,
go
I
for
was
it.
say I'll just ask it when I see you, just at the Rowdies game.
Oh yeah.
No, I have 2 more I could ask. But that felt like
you guys keep me on here. We could start 2-hour podcasts.
That felt like a great sign off with the closing and exclamation mark. But then ask your questions, because I got 2 more I could ask too.
Just be a very team first, soccer first guy. But what's the coolest thing you've gotten to experience being with the Rowdies? Just personally, whether it was meeting somebody, whether it was like you're like, holy crap, I'm in this situation I didn't think I'd ever be in.
Again, I don't want this to sound arrogant. It's really cool meeting all these people in soccer. I never want that to wear off per se, right? So there are some really cool experiences. Like we had Benfica last year, the training facility for Club World Cup. We had the U.S. men's national team train there. That was a really cool experience before they played Uruguay in the friendly. I have 2 experiences that stick out to me like no other. One, 2012 championship. Best sporting experience I've ever been to. And you could tell the story. Jeff can tell the story. Players from the team can tell the story. If you weren't there, it's kind of hard to explain the feelings behind it, right? It was a home and away final. You come home after losing 2-0, and that last goal that they got was literally
the last kick of the game, right? The
last kick of the game, where there's smoke bombs going off in Minnesota, in Blaine, Minnesota. I think they knocked the field boards over. I had a photo that's framed in my office. It's not there anymore. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around the building. And it's the last goal in Minnesota. It's literally like Jeff on the ground and the ball hitting side net, right? But that was the turning point. And then we come home being down 2-0, and to get that game to go into extra time. And then Shane Hill gets a red card. Come on, Shane.
Dizzy Dollars.
And then, Dizzy Dan coming through with a goal there.
We got to hunt him down for a podcast episode. That'd be
and then going to PKs, like crazy story that not a lot of people know about. And you should have Nico on here just for this if you want to talk to him about anything.
I take credit for my whole career.
Yeah, right? Nico was an intern, and what he did film review on Minnesota's penalty kicks.
Oh, wow.
And he literally watched them all and had them on a piece of paper. This guy's going lower left, this guy's going lower right, and this guy over here made some massive saves.
I had a cheat sheet.
On his wrist.
You didn't do any study on those guys beforehand? Or?
He didn't need to. It was on his wrist.
He nailed it.
Nico nailed it. Like,
to be fair,
it was unreal.
We didn't do a ton of studying like that back then.
It wasn't,
now it's very normal.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't as much video footage and things like that. So no, I mean, when he handed that to me, I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
See this?
So that was wild. And then 2021 Eastern Conference Final was insane. Being down 2-0 after the 80th minute, coming back, tying it up 2-2, and then going into extra time and beating Louisville City, who we play this weekend. Big moment for us, and I think Louisville City would tell you the next year they got a red card. We were playing up a man from like the 70th minute on, and we lost to them 1-0. And I remember walking on the field afterwards to speak to the players and the coaching staff and work with the guys, get them off the field. I mean, obviously a lot of anguish and heartbreak there. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody from Louisville City walked up to me, one of the players, and he was like, I know it hurts, right? Like we had this same feeling last year. But the way that even the Louisville City players conducted themselves and the professionalism, knowing that they went through that the year before, there's just a lot of respect between both organizations, but neither organization wants to lose to the other one. I'll tell you that right now.
To wrap up, World Cup watch party, Al Lang Stadium. We have the 5v5 tournament, right? The biggest 5v5 tournament in the country for kids that could sign up. That's on July 11th. And adults.
And adults.
For all ages, yes.
It's all ages.
I made that video. I remember
Seth,
that video.
put together your team.
I saw you look at me like you
for
want me to
all
put
ages.
I want everybody in. It's the biggest tournament in the country.
Biggest tournament in the country. Biggest 5v5 tournament in the country. So what else we have going on?
Camps.
We got summer camps. Yeah, don't be grilling me. I want you to tell the people. They hear from me every week.
No, we have summer camps starting here in a couple of weeks. First set of camp, or the first camp, I should say, is in collaboration, in conjunction with the Sun, which is cool. For whatever reason, people think like we're competition to the Sun. We're all trying to grow the game of soccer here. We're working together. So we put this camp together. The Sun staff has been great, and it's going to be up at their location, so excited for that. And we have camps running all the way through the end of July. And with the camps, with the 5v5 tournament, tickets are included in registration. So there's your ticket right there. Seth has a bunch of buddies he wants to bring out to a game. Sign up for the 5v5 tournament. Sign up
for the tournament.
And then you get
JP to sign up for the tournament.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, all right. All right.
Yeah, see, there you go.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
It is. I mean, you might want to start. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not right now. You want to start running.
Yeah,
because it is brutal outside.
Yeah. I'm sweating just walking to my car after.
I'm sweating in here just with the lights.
Yeah. Well, I'll be ready. When's the tournament?
July 11th.
Yeah, I got time.
Plenty of time. Champions League watch party.
We have Champions League watch party this weekend. Then after Champions League watch party, Grand Central Brewing, early afternoon. Bring your friends. It will be a great time, right? Then afterwards, head down to Colony Grill. We have
Colony Grill corner kick.
Yep, you got it. Everybody knows it. Great staff down there. Watch party for Rowdies versus Louisville City. Then we have the World Cup starting. So we have our big watch party on June 12th. June 19th, we're going to be in 3 different locations. If you're in St. Pete, you're going to Janice, right? That's 3 p.m. game against Australia. Tickets are available. Go to our website. That's with Anheuser-Busch and PMB Events. If you're in Tampa, go to Armature Works. We're working with Beasley Media Group on some watch parties there. If you're in South Tampa, maybe a little bit younger crowd, go to McDinton's.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to have representation everywhere. Then June 25th, that's the next one and the last one.
Last of the group.
Last of the group, I should say. We'll be at Ferg's in St. Pete. We'll be at Riveters in Tampa, and we'll also be at Armature Works in Tampa. All the places are going to be packed. At every location, you can win Rowdies tickets. You can get Rowdies swag. There's going to be other partners there handing out swag. At the watch party June 12th, definitely come to that one because they're giving away 2 tickets to the knockout round in Miami. That's from Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm not eligible to win that.
Yeah,
by the way.
You're not eligible. I'm not eligible.
You might be eligible.
We
You're
might.
fringe.
We
You're
might.
fringe
Yeah, you're
eligibility.
fringe. We might be able to make you work, Seth.
Fringe eligibility,
right? To
I'm
win
ready
some
to put
tickets.
To work. I want to be a ticket
Unless you
mule.
want to take your daughter and pay $5,000, $2,500 a piece.
No, I'd rather finagle the
Yeah.
system.
So yeah, there's a lot going on this summer. It's the summer of soccer, and the Rowdies are front and center. So
Best team in America.
Best
a lot
team
of
in
stuff
America.
going on. All good things. Ryan, appreciate you joining us, man.
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me.
That
Thank you.
community is going to be so mad at me. This ran long, but I'm going to tell her we just talked
Yeah, it's
for
fine.
a long time. All right, cool.
Cool.
All good.
Sweet.